different parts of psychologies. One that can be implemented, applied. Can anybody give an example of any applied psychology? Any technique, any trick that you can apply?
Sir.
नहीं, ladies first. बोलो रोहित. हाँ. अरे.
Sir, thank you, Rohit. Thank you. Reverse psychology.
Explain करो.
So we can apply that when the little one is saying कि I want to have this toy, particularly this toy. So I say कि नहीं ये भी एग्जाम्पल नहीं चलेगा, एग्जाम्पल सोचना पड़ेगा सर मुझे.
Very good.
जिस काम के लिए वो बोल रहा है कि मुझे ये करना है, जिद कर रहा है, अगर उसी काम के लिए ने बोल दिया ओके जाके कर ले, बट वो फिर नहीं करेगा.
मुझे तो नहीं लगता वो क्यों नहीं करेगा, करेगा ना. अगर उसको पिकनिक जाना है, जा पिकनिक को तो जाएगा. अगर उसको बर्गर खाना है मैकडॉनल्ड्स में, कोक भी पीना है, करेगा, पिएगा.
ओके, तो लाइक कि अगर विंटर्स है और वो आइसक्रीम मांग रहा है तो वो जिद कर रहा है, बट आई नो कि वो उसके लिए अच्छा नहीं है, तो वो जिद कर रहा है, बट मैं उसको मना कर देती हूँ तो भी नहीं मान रहा है. तो एट लास्ट आई विल से ओके आई विल गिव यू 2 आइसक्रीम, देन हैव इट, एंड इफ यू हैव कोल्ड एंड दिस थिंग डोंट टॉक टू मी. देन ही इज सेइंग ओके मम्मा.
आपने तो उसको थ्रेटन कर दिया कि डोंट टॉक टू मी, ये तो थ्रेट है. रिवर्स क्या है उसमें?
सर बेटर यू गिव.
देखो,
Example.
I will give everything, but my question to everybody is when will you learn? Is that a good question? है ना? All right, but I'm happy that Garima ma'am tried and her answer is correct, but she was unable to give us an example. Anybody else?
Live example, sir. Hello.
Yeah, we are listening, Gaurav. Please go ahead.
सर एक्चुअली जब मैं कॉलेज में आया, मतलब 12वीं के बाद, तो स्टार्टिंग में मैंने जिद की बाइक लेने की पेरेंट्स से. तो उन्होंने उस टाइम मना कर दिया कि इसको बाइक नहीं देनी है. सब पेरेंट्स का कंसर्न होता है कि अभी लाइसेंस नहीं है इसके पास और वो मतलब लड़कियों को बिठा के घुमाएगा, ऐसा कुछ होता है कंसर्न, और एक्सीडेंट वगैरह करेगा. तो उन्होंने मना कर दिया. फिर एक टाइम ऐसा आया जब मैंने खुद ही मना कर दिया सामने से कि मुझे बाइक नहीं चाहिए. तब उन्होंने जबरदस्ती मुझे बाइक दिलाई कि अब तू ले. अब तो तुझे लेनी पड़ेगी, हम दिलवाएंगे जरूर.
के थक गए तो नहीं ली और अभी मना कर दिया तो दे रहे हैं. तो ये क्या है, किसका एग्जांपल है ये?
रिवर्स साइकोलॉजी का.
वेरी गुड. तो अब बात बन रही है पीपल.
यस.
तो सही टाइम पे सही वक्त याद आना, क्या बोलेंगे उसको?
प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड.
यार ये पता नहीं कहाँ से पढ़ के आया, ये कुछ चीटिंग चालू है मेरे ख्याल से. कुछ पेपर रखा है नीचे, सब क्वेश्चन भी मालूम है, झट झट आंसर आ रहे हैं. कुछ गड़बड़ पक्का है. चीटिंग इज नॉट अलाउड एक्चुअली, बट पहले टाइम हुए तो ठीक है. ऑल राइट. प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड हुआ, विटी हुआ. वो अकबर बीरबल की कहानी हमको पता है बचपन से. बीरबल कैसे हैं? वेरी क्विक, वेरी शार्प, वेरी विटी, वेरी ह्यूमरस. ऑल राइट. what does that indicate? किसी का अच्छा सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर है, what does it indicate?
He is intelligent.
Very good. तो जो इंटेलिजेंट है, स्मार्ट है, उन्हीं का सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर अच्छा होगा ऐसे माना जाता है. Okay. So one more time, 2 kinds of psychology. One is applied. If one is applied, what is the other one? The other one is more of educational, more of theoretical. Which is important?
Both are important.
If you want to study psychology to have a deeper understanding, then you'll have to study some concepts also. If you simply want to apply some principles here and there, then for you theory is not important. Fair? Today's book is meant for those people who like psychology as a subject. They also like reading books. They also want to have an understanding. They also want to respect scientists, psychologists who've worked hard. They also want to increase their general knowledge, and maybe they are generally curious people. So today's session is for them. I'm not sharing any techniques of psychology for manipulation, for persuasion, tricks and techniques. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's more of a theoretical book, and we will get to know how this person thought. What is the name of this person, by the way? Okay. Anybody else? ये गुंजिता मैम को सब मालूम होता है. Is she there? I think.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, Sean Piag. I am not able to pronounce this, but it's not Jane, but it's something Sean.
हाँ, that's okay. So John है Piaget. तो ऐसे जिनके
Yeah.
नाम रहते हैं अजीब अजीब, कुछ लिखा अलग है, pronunciation अलग है. Which country are they usually from?
French people.
फ्रेंच हो सकते हैं, स्विट्जरलैंड हो सकता है, ऑस्ट्रिया हो सकता है. उनका कभी होता है ऐसा, स्पेलिंग अलग है, प्रोनाउंसिएशन अलग है. तो दिस
Even
जेंटलमैन,
Spanish, sir.
सॉरी,
Spanish people.
स्पेनिश. All
Even
right.
they have these weird pronunciations.
All right. Please, tomorrow, please share a few names, okay? I'm happy to know, and just share something fun with us. The Spanish name with different pronunciation. लिखा कुछ और है, pronunciation कुछ और है. I would love to hear from you. Will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So this gentleman had written the book, and let's now start reading. ये प्रणोति ने कुछ टाइप किया है DM में. Is this all about chit chat, or are we also going to read something? Because I came for book reading. ओहो प्रणोति मैम, we are reading. ये क्या ऐसे मैसेजेस भेजते हो? All right. But ऐसे बुरे मैसेजेस भेज के वो स्माइल अच्छा करती है, तो we are going to let it go. All right, guys. So here is the window I'm opening now. Who would like to read first? All right. Go ahead, please. Tell us, when was this book written? अयो, aren't we reading some silly, stupid, old technology? अभी तो अपडेट करना चाहिए ना, सब चेंज हो गया रहेगा ना अब तक तो. क्या? Yes or no? Very good. I'm so happy you think like that, and that is true. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. Okay. Please read a few lines till we ask you to stop. Go ahead and read nice, loud, and clear. Stop. ये क्या है? ये क्या word है ये? What word is it? Should we care about words, or should we just read? हाँ, what does it mean? किसी और को, आपको नहीं पता तो किसी और को जल्दी पूछो. इधर सबको मालूम है वो वर्ड. आप हाँ बताओ ना. स्टार. ओ नहीं, स्टार नहीं है उसका मीनिंग. गुंजिता मैम बहुत पढ़ी लिखी है, और वो गरिमा मैम भी पढ़ी लिखी है. उनको पूछ लो जल्दी से. चलो.
So realm means world of psychology?
गूगल कर लिया ना? वेरी गुड.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. To be very true, no.
अयो सॉरी. बस एक प्रणोति मैम है जो गूगल नहीं करते, वो पहले ही नोट्स लिख के आई हैं. सो दैट इज करेक्ट. वर्ल्ड बोलो या फील्ड बोलो. वेरी नाइस. चलो आगे जाएंगे प्लीज. गया ऊपर से कि सब समझ में आया? जय हाँ या ना में जवाब दो. डिड एनीबॉडी अंडरस्टैंड? क्या ऊपर से गया? जल्दी जल्दी बोलो, टाइम मत वेस्ट करो.
50% ऊपर से.
ओके. नाउ क्वेश्चन टू ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल. ऊपर से गया हाँ या नहीं? जल्दी बोलो यार.
ऊपर से गया.
Yes, sir.
सवाल आपके लिए ये है, ऊपर से जाता क्यों है? और दो आंसर है उसके. एक, sometimes the sentences are little complex. And number two,
शिव मेरा फोन दो,
number two reason
शिव
है,
मेरा फोन दो.
number two reason है, जिसको नहीं समझ रहा है बहुत जल्दी, उनको शायद पढ़ने की आदत ज्यादा नहीं है. तो दोनों में से क्या ट्रू है, नंबर 1 और नंबर 2?
फोन दो.
Very good. So ladies and gentlemen, seriously, please get used to reading. The more you read, things will start getting easier.
Yes.
Should I quickly read it for you?
Yes,
देखो
sir.
पहले तो उन्होंने क्या बताया है, a book on psychology of intelligence could cover half of the realm. It means if psychology is 100%, 50% of psychology can be about intelligence. All right. The following pages are confined to outlining one view that, based on the formation of operations and to determining as objectively as possible its place among others which have been put forward. In other words, there could be many views, but the following pages are outlining only one view,
One of them.
One view.
one perspective, one point of view. सरल भाषा में कहने का मतलब है साइकोलॉजी बहुत बड़ी है और अनेक सारे व्यूज हैं. हम वी आर लुकिंग एट समथिंग फ्रॉम वन पर्सपेक्टिव. आई एम टेलिंग यू इन अ वेरी सिंपल वे. लेट्स प्लीज गो अहेड. Read. The first. All right. Now, does it start getting little technical, guys? Is things getting heavier?
Yes.
Wonderful. So, firstly, I don't know who's trying to log in. Somebody's coming in so late. I have to try to log them in. Hang on. किधर है ये गरिमा आ गई किसी और डिवाइस से. Okay. All right. Now, the reason we are reading this, which is just what section are we reading, guys? Chapter number what was this? किधर है चैप्टर? ये तो प्रीवियस है, चैप्टर भी शुरू नहीं हुआ अभी तक. चैप्टर उधर है क्या? चैप्टर हमारे ऑडियंस हैं जो ऐसे जवाब दे रहे हैं. All right. So guys, let's now, the reason I'm exposing you to all this is that, number one, sometimes the words can be technical if you want to study some subject in detail. And number two, the sentence structure can also, if you're not used to reading, can seem complex. All right, let's get down to business. I'm not going to read the second preface also. Let's simply start getting to know the first chapter. Let's read. So Rohit, thank you so much. Who else would like to read next? Quick. Take the initiative and start.
Can I? Every psychological explanation comes sooner or later to lean either on biology or on logic or on sociology, but this in turn leads to the same alternatives.
Could you quickly explain that? Or if you cannot, ask if anybody else can.
Yes. Can anybody explain this one sentence?
All right. So make an understanding of this, and whoever wants to make some notes, because this is written by a very old expert. So if anybody wants to make some little notes for your reference or something, feel free to do that.
Yes,
so if you notice, यहाँ पे biology and logic and sociology coming into the picture.
Yes.
Anybody who wants to pursue their study in psychology or counseling or coaching or helping or anything, if you understand these things, it might be helpful. Remember, I had told you one time that one of these days I'll conduct a session on sociology. किसी को याद है मैंने ऐसा कुछ बोला था? I had said sociology also, cultural intelligence also. I had talked about
Yes, sir.
anthropology also. Okay, लेकिन अगर किसी को चक्कर आता रहेगा तो we don't have to go there. लेकिन किसी को interest रहेगा तो we can take a quick look someday. All right. Please go for the next sentence.
For some writers, mental phenomena become intelligible only when related to the organism.
All right. We're gonna let that go. We'll try to, in the time that we have, we'll try and find something more relevant to us. Please go ahead.
This view is, of course, inescapable when we study the elementary functions, perception, motor functions, etc., in which intelligence originates. But we can hardly see neurology explaining why 2 and 2 make 4, or why the laws of deduction are forced on the mind of necessity.
Did anybody understand thoda bahut?
What is inescapable cannot be escaped.
Correct. So, like I always say, some people say you can read, I don't know, 5 books in a month and 50 books in a year. And I'm sorry for repeating this, but the point is, even if you read 50 books or 200 books, if you don't understand what is written, what is the point reading? Are you with me, guys? If you're not aware of the words, what they mean, if you're not aware of phrases and idioms, if you're not clearly getting the concept, it's just no point reading books, many books. Point number 2, if you only read summaries, that can also be incomplete because it doesn't give you neither a sensory experience nor does it give you an experience where you're able to remember things, because it's just summary. If you go to big books like, I don't know, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, maybe they will have the same messages that are the messages here in most of the books. Agree, disagree?
Agreed, sir.
But the purpose to read books is we have to assimilate in a way that we remember certain things. Before we remember, we appreciate, we like, we respect, we find logic, we look at examples, we listen to stories, and then we form an emotional connection. We remember, we absorb, we internalize, and we start making changes in ourselves. So it's a process. It's not just, "Mai pada na, mere ko malum hai na." No, that's not how it works. All right. So basically, here, in very simple words, they are talking about perception and motor function. Okay. Now, this is where there is the intelligence originates in motor function and perception. Anybody motor function?
Movements, hand movements, leg movements.
All right. So कभी शुरू होता है वो? Age, कौन सा age?
In childhood.
I don't understand. After what?
Well, 1.5 year, a child learns to walk. He learns to crawl.
ये जो सवाल ही नहीं है, बहुत लंबे लंबे जवाब है, गोल गोल घूम रहे सवाल का जवाब, सवाल भी नहीं सुनते, जवाब कुछ भी है. Please don't do that. Improve your listening skill. What is the question? What is the answer? When?
After birth.
Let's say after birth. It simply means that the intelligence begins then. Why? Because there is proof that intelligence is there. But we can hardly see neurology explaining why 2 and 2 is 4. So your motor functions have got to do with neurology. And in neurology, there is no logic of 2 and 2, 4. So this person who's writing the book clearly is a very intelligent man, and he is making us understand that there is intelligence already there, but what we call intelligence and what the body is doing, they seem to be different. And he's arguing that point, but they are not different because there is already intelligence even before we speak or do anything. Even basic motor functions have intelligence. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Rohit, can you please identify where the noise is? And whoever has some noisy environment, please be on mute. Whenever you need to speak, feel free to unmute. All right. Please go ahead, read quickly.
See, neurology explaining why 2 and 2 make 4.
वो हो गया
Thus,
सर, thus arises.
thus arises the second tendency, which
Hmm.
consists in regarding logical and mathematical relations as irreducible
Hmm.
and in making an analysis of the higher intellectual functions depend on an analysis of them.
Okay. Now this reduction theory and irreducible, these are all terms got to do with Western medicine. We won't go there for now. Please go ahead with but it is.
But it is questionable whether logic, regarded as something eluding the attempts of experimental psychology to explain it, can in its turn legitimately explain anything in psychological experience.
Okay. So if you notice, the word is logic and then the word is psychological experience. Okay. And there is also the word eluding. There is also the word experimental psychology. So the author, from the very beginning, if you notice, is trying to establish or is basically establishing the connection between logic and biology and neurology. And in some way, what he's saying is that if you look at one thing and one definition, it is not explaining the other thing. In other words, if there is intelligence, maybe the intelligence is different from how we perceive it.
Yes.
All right. So let's have the next person read quickly. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Formal logic or logistics is simply the axiomatics of states of equilibrium of thought, and the positive science corresponding to this axiomatics is none other than the psychology of thought.
Hmm. We
With
won't go
the
there. Let's
task
go ahead. Hmm.
with the task thus allotted, the psychology of intelligence must assuredly continue to take account of logistic discoveries, but these will never grow so far as to dictate to psychology its own solutions. They will merely raise problems for it.
Okay, we're gonna let it go. Next.
So we must start from this dual nature of intelligence as something both biological and logical. The
Now
two
let's stop
chapters
here.
that
Let's stop here. Now, this is something that we can talk about. If we try to explain the earlier ones, it is going to take a lot of time. Plus, you people are not responsive. When I ask you a question, nobody answers. Somebody's at the ceiling, somebody's at the floor, somebody's on their phone. I don't know what you people do. But to not waste time, let's look at some simpler things. Can anybody quickly understand what this means? We must start from this sentence. Can anybody explain quickly?
We have to understand the how intelligence works actually, and we have to understand the both ways of the intelligence or both parts of the intelligence, one biological as well as logical.
All
From
right.
both perspective, we have to understand.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Let's read from here. Every response.
Okay. Every response, whether it be an act directed towards the outside world or an act internalized as thought, takes the form of an adaptation, or better, of a readaptation. The
Mhm.
individual acts only if he experiences a need. That is, if the equilibrium between the environment and the organism is momentarily upset, an action tends to re-establish the equilibrium. That is, to readapt the organism. A response is thus a particular case of interaction between the external world and the subject, but unlike physiological interactions, which are of a material nature and involves an internal change in the bodies which are present, the responses studied by psychology are of a functional nature and are achieved at greater and greater distances in space, that is perception. and in time memory, besides following more and more complex paths, reversals, detours.
All right.
Behavior,
So in very simple words, I'm not going to explain the entire meaning, but basically what this means is that anything that a body responds to will happen because of there is some sort of a need, and the equilibrium between the environment and that body is upset. The action tends to re-establish the equilibrium. So एक simple example लेंगे. Let's say a baby is sleeping, or maybe a baby is drinking milk, and you pull the bottle out of the mouth of the baby. What will the baby do? Go off to sleep. Correct?
cry.
कौन है रे ये लोग? कहाँ से लेके आए रे इनको?
Sir, baby
वो
will
बेबी
cry.
के मुंह में बॉटल है, दूध पी रहा है, वो अगर खींच दो तो वो सो जाएगा. शाबाश.
Will cry.
तो ये किसने बोला अभी हिल स्लीप करेक्ट है, और कौन बोल रहा है क्राई? ये दो इंसान कौन है?
I said cry.
मैं बोल रही हूँ cry.
तो पहला आंसर किसने दिया था कि वो सो जाएगा करेक्ट है? सो गाइस, so the point is that जब वो बच्चा रोया या चिल्लाया या एंग्री हो गया, that is a response because that equilibrium got disturbed. Is that okay in simple words?
Yes.
चलो आगे जाएंगे.
Behavior, thus conceived in terms of functional interaction, presupposes two essential and closely interdependent aspects, an affective aspect and a cognitive aspect.
All
There
right.
has been much discussion.
So make sure what is cognitive?
Brain related.
What related?
Brain related.
Any other way of putting it? मतलब किसी के अगर ब्रेन को सूजन आ गई या किसी के ब्रेन को कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो मतलब कॉग्निटिव हो गया क्या? वो कोई बायोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम हो गया तो कॉग्निटिव है. वेयर इज गुंजिता मैम?
Yes, sir.
बताओ ना आंसर. कुछ ऐसे सीक्रेट सब ऐसा नॉलेज छुपा के क्यों रखते हो? हमारा फायदा कभी करवा के दोगे?
Sir, understanding. Cognition means understanding.
ऑल राइट. तो फिर अगर वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है तो कॉम्प्रिहेंडिंग क्या है? I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm only asking you. Anybody else? Cognition? Is cognition thought or awareness or thinking or understanding or all of the above?
All of the above.
All right, let's go. So point to be noted, there is affective and there is cognitive. Two aspects are there. All right, please go ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between understanding and comprehending?
They seem very similar, but in certain cases, there could be a little difference, which today I should not get into because I'll have to give you examples, and that those examples need to be specific. So we will simply continue. I will answer that and I will explain that tomorrow maybe. They appear to be exactly the same there, but there's a slight difference. Now another thing. There is also something called as level of words. Okay. Now what a level of words? The concept I'm explaining to you will be found on which website, guys?
There is no website.
On that website, you'll get all what I'm speaking. So there are certain levels of word: level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 0 are functional words. Level 1 can be words that you can start expressing with. And as you go higher in levels, you start noticing that certain things for certain professions or certain purposes, you have to start using higher level of words. There can also be words used not only for explaining something, but also impressing something or impressing someone. We'll someday talk about levels of words. Let's quickly get back to what we were doing. All right. Yeah, please go ahead.
There has been much discussion on the relations between affect, and cognition. According to P. Janet, a distinction must be drawn between primary action or the relation between subject and object, intelligence, and secondary action or the subject reaction to his own actions, this reaction, which constitutes elementary feelings, consists of regulations of primary action and ensures the release of the energy available inside the organism.
Hmm.
But besides these regulations, which determine the energetics or inner economy of behavior,
Yeah.
we must, it seems, take into account those which govern its ends or values, and such values characterize an energetic or economic interaction with the external environment.
All right.
According to
Bus. So basically, here they're talking about actions and reactions to his own actions. Now, can anybody give me an example of an action and reaction of your own action? It could be wrong, it's okay. Can anybody give an example? आपने ही एक्शन लिया और आपने एक्शन के ऊपर ही आपने ही रिएक्ट कर लिया, और ये एक्शन वॉलंटरी हो सकती है, इनवॉलंटरी भी हो सकती है. अभी तो आसान है.
I have an example. While driving a car, if I drive roughly in anger or in some destructive behavior or in very much distraction around me, then I might make an accident with another person who is driving a bike or another car, and he will react to it with anger. So my action has reaction.
Okay. So one thing I'm noticing, thank you for the answer. One thing I'm noticing, due to listening, leaks in listening, the answers are not on the right track because something was not listened carefully. Does anybody remember what I said, or everybody forgot?
I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
तो हिंदी में सरल भाषा में आपने कुछ किया है और आपने जो किया है उसके ऊपर आप ही की रिएक्शन है.
I have a funny example. Like Indian moms when they beat their kids, and then later after 2 minutes they only feel bad and they start crying, kind of.
All
So
right.
that might be an example.
That is an interesting example. Maybe you chew your own tongue and then your own reaction to what just happened. Now that is voluntary, involuntary, we'll keep it aside. But action and reaction, both your own. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, question to all of you all. Why do we have to spend time thinking, asking questions, going back and forth? ये सब क्यों करना? Why don't we just read, start at 9 o'clock, end at whatever 10:30 and go home? Why don't we do that? And why should we actually do that? Because this is not helping, right?
There can be different interpretation for a different person.
अपने को क्या, उनका प्रॉब्लम है, उनको करने दो इंटरप्रिटेशन, हमारा क्या जाता है?
No, but main goal of some important message remain aside. What author
Alright.
has to say, that will remain aside.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
So that we become aware of our own patterns and behaviors, in the sense that if we are doing such thing, we become aware and then we can change that pattern.
What pattern?
So give me 2 minutes, I'll think of an example.
नहीं, relevant example देने का है ना, सवाल जो है उसको ही देंगे ना, अब दूसरा example कैसे देंगे? It should be live example ना, जो हो रहा है इधर. गुंजिता मैम.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? So the next time, should we do this? Should we just read from 1.5 hours? Everybody gets a chance to read for 10 minutes और शुरू करेंगे, खत्म करेंगे, अपने घर जाएंगे. Should we do that?
No, sir.
आप तो ऐसे घर पे तो ऐसे ही बुक पढ़ेंगे ना आप. हाँ, मैंने बुक पढ़ लिया, हो गया, मेरे 5 बुक कंप्लीट हो गए. ऐसे ही करोगे ना?
No, it will not be useful.
All right. So here is the thing, guys. Firstly, because we are reading a book together, we are all multiplying our intelligence. By how many times today? Oh, 9 लोग हैं क्या हम लोग? Very nice. So if we have 9 times the intelligence, should we have 9 times the benefit?
Yes, sir.
That is point number 1. Point number 2, because everybody is together, maybe in some areas, let's say if somebody has a weak vocabulary but good listening, the other person might have good listening but maybe poor focus. I mean, I don't know. Everybody might have some combinations. When we work in a team, we try to bring everybody into, like the word used here, equilibrium. Is that a good idea?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
think we should help each other and make sure that everybody benefits?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. The next thing is, when I'm asking you questions, ये तो किसी ने भी सोचा नहीं होगा कि मेरे ऊपर क्वेश्चन आने वाला है. हमको तो क्या आदत है, अरे वो वेबिनार जाएंगे, बैठेंगे, ऑन करेंगे, वो कुछ बड़बड़ेंगे, खत्म करेंगे, घर जाएंगे. But suddenly when you ask a question, now you have to be alert, you have to be confident.
Yes.
So do we need any confidence really?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Need confidence.
Then this should help. The next thing is, when we are discussing things with examples, we are getting not only a better understanding, but also examples help us remember. True?
Yes.
The next thing, when you are asked a question and when you answer the question, you get into the habit of accessing knowledge hidden in your brain somewhere. You are accessing it. Some people don't access, some people have notes and they cheat. I will not tell you who that person is. Some people do that. But normally, we have to access information. True?
Yes.
So, if you're constantly accessing information whenever you need, you get into a habit. मुझे याद आ गया, मुझे पता है, रुक एक मिनट, अरे हाँ वो. Are you getting sharper or duller if you're able to do that?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. So, question to you: when we're doing 10 different things, and I know many times you might be feeling uncomfortable. अरे मेरे आंसर को wrong बोला, बुरा है वो तो, एक दिन देख लूंगी उसको, क्लास के बाहर मिल दिखेगी. You might be feeling like that. But
No, it's never like that.
sorry,
It's never like that. There, you always suggest.
तो मुझे नहीं
Good.
मिलोगे क्लास के बाहर, सिर्फ
No,
ऑनलाइन
no,
मिलोगे.
it's not like that. You
अभी
criticize.
तो बोला ना आपने, बाहर नहीं मिलने का है, क्लास में मिलने का है.
No, no, it's not like that. You criticize. Your feedback helps us to improve.
All right, I'm just kidding. So guys, the point is, if you feel uncomfortable, it means अब तक किस जोन में थे आप?
Comfort.
कंफर्ट जोन में थे. एंड व्हाट एम आई डूइंग? कभी प्यार से, कभी मजाक से, कभी डांट के, कभी पुश करके, कभी आपके ऊपर स्पॉटलाइट डाल के, गेटिंग यू आउट ऑफ
Comfort zone.
Comfort
गुड
zone.
थिंग और बैड थिंग. क्या रहने दो मुझे कंफर्ट जोन में, खुश हूं मैं उधर.
Actually, when we are happy in our comfort zone, but it's not worth it.
Yes, because even if you're happy today, there is no growth if you're always in the comfort zone. All
Yes,
right.
there is no progress.
So although it might look like what are we doing, why are we doing, but every little thing is adding. And I want you to know that even when I do corporate training or when I'm into coaching, I do use psychological tools. And even when I do counseling, there is a method to it. And what we are doing things very informally here, but the fundamental remains the same: to push, to nudge, to make sure that you are able to use your positive qualities. Initially, it might feel uncomfortable, but as you start getting used to it, you will develop the habit of expression, you'll develop the habit of memory, you will develop the habit of being responsible, you'll develop the habit of creatively thinking. And all these qualities add to your confidence. Yes, no?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So there is plenty of stuff, but you have realized, like I told you earlier also, this book is fairly technical. It is not written in a very simple way for everybody to understand. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
It means the person who's written the book, clearly, this book is not meant for college students, housewives, uh, casual readers. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This book has certain weight to it, and if we have to understand it, firstly, we have to be aware of words. We have to have a good study of words. We have to be aware of some psychological concepts, some biological concepts, some logical concepts. Then, if we read it, it is going to become simpler. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, actually, I just realized it's a tough book after getting it here, correct?
Yes, sir. So for me,
Yes, sir.
I don't understand. I heard one no, another sound was kocha mocho, something like that. I don't know what that person said. Any answers? Quick, guys.
sir, to be true, I found it little difficult for me.
सवाल क्या है और जवाब क्या है? Can anybody repeat the question for me, please? Because the answer is going somewhere else. You कौन है? मैं ना? All right. तो उनका आंसर क्या है? क्या I found it difficult. Is that the answer? No. So guys, everybody make a note in your notebook. If you really want to improve your communication skills, your confidence, and your relationships, make a note in your notebook. Start listening to each and every word. If you don't listen, what does it say if you don't listen to other people?
Focus is
Guys,
less.
sorry?
You don't
Focus. There
appreciate,
is no focus.
respect, and acknowledge the person.
हाँ, focus because की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं हम. I already gave you 4 answers today.
Yes.
We don't
Please remember the
listen.
4. Now, question to you. Do you really think listening skills is very easy? अरे बचपन से कर रहे ले बहुत easy है. Really?
No, it's not easy.
No, sir.
No.
Not easy.
Okay. Hearing is easy. Listening is not easy.
Hmm.
So, question to all of you all. Anything that is not easy, what should we do? Number 1, छोड़ना दिमाग को कट. Forget it. Option 1. Option 2, practice. All right. Okay. So let me find some paragraph which might be simpler. Because here we're talking about affective and cognitive and all that. So let's move to something simpler. Let's see if we can find. So a point I want to make is that the reason I got this book here, I know it was difficult already, and also I'd written to you that it's a technical book in the message that I shared with you. And the reason I still got it because I want you to get the flavor of how books can be. If I teach you how to make ice cream, or if I teach you how to cook, I will expose you to various kinds of ice cream. मीठे भी, खट्टे भी, ड्राई फ्रूट वाले भी, कोकोनट वाले भी, जिसके ऊपर मिर्ची पाउडर डालते वो भी, जो आग में जलती है आइसक्रीम वो भी. Similarly, as a book reader, you should be exposed to various kinds of books. I'm talking about non-fiction. Various kinds of books so that you start understanding the writing style, the vocabulary, the subjects, your current position, the way you prefer a a writing style, or the way you prefer some certain vocabulary or certain subject. So there's a lot of understanding for us. But initially, it's a good idea to get lots of exposure. Any questions on that? So today, It is more about exposure. It is more about the philosophy. It is more about जो तपश्चर्या लगती है, जो मेहनत लगती है, जो ट्रेनिंग लगती है, आज का दिन वो है. आज का दिन is not so much about तो क्या सीखा. Today is not that day. Okay. हालांकि tomorrow I will do a part 2 of this where we are gonna get into what did the book, some important points that the book have. And that is what we do always. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
ए रोहित के बाकी सो गए क्या पब्लिक?
No.
Yes, sir.
Because if you're not again responding to me, you're telling me the same thing. What are the things you're telling me? 4 things? Bolo.
No
I'm asking you a
appreciation.
question. When you don't care, जवाब देने का care ही नहीं करते, तो क्या बोल रहे हैं आप मुझे? Number
We
1,
don't acknowledge you.
we don't acknowledge. तू है क्या नहीं, हमें फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता. You are nothing for me. हाँ. Second,
No respect.
respect तो भूल ही जाओ. तो कटोरा लेके आओ तब मैं दूंगी. हाँ. तीसरा, आप
No
नहीं, तुम तुम्हारी ड्यूटी कर रहे हो. हमने तुम्हें पैसे दिए, तुमने ड्यूटी की, इधर आके हमको सिखा रहे हो, हमको ये सब कर रहे हो. हमने फीस जो दी है तुमको. ऑल राइट. और चौथा,
Love.
लव तो नहीं, तुम्हारे ऊपर हमारा एक्चुअली हेट ही ज्यादा आ रहा है आजकल. Is that what you're trying to tell me, these 4 points?
No, sir.
Okay.
All right, and remember this. More than what you're trying to tell me, it is you and your impression that is created if you're constantly unresponsive. और आपका जो यहाँ आने का उद्देश्य है, क्या उद्देश्य है इधर आने का?
Self improvement.
Sorry?
Self improvement and confidence gaining.
Self improvement, gaining confidence, gaining knowledge. If you're constantly remain quiet, is that going to be fulfilled?
No.
No, sir.
No. अगर आप चुपचाप रहते हैं बार बार, तो you're wasting your time. All right. Let me find something easy. This is also not easy. Chalo, let's try to understand definition. Okay, who was the last person reading?
Me.
और ये मी क्या है? नॉक नॉक नॉक. रात के 12 बजे दरवाजा बजा. कौन है? अरे मैं हूँ. अरे मैं क्या? आओ अंदर आओ. ऐसे होता है क्या? Who is that?
Pranoti.
Okay. So Pranoti, looks like to me, after I heard the way you read it, looks like you do have a habit of reading, and you did not make many errors when reading. That is kind of interesting. Do you read usually?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Definition of intelligence. Now let the next person read, please, whoever it is.
Can I read?
Mm-hmm.
Definition of intelligence. If we undertake to define intelligence, which is certainly important for determining the field which we shall be studying under this heading, it is sufficient that we be agreed on the degree of complexity of distant interaction which we shall call intelligent. But here,
So
difficulty is
sorry. If you notice here, see the way it is written. Anybody here who's interested in English language?
Yes,
Everyone.
No, everyone nahi. Somebody who really appreciates literature or language or linguistics, मैं उनकी बात कर रहा हूँ. I'm not asking anybody who जिनको जरूरत है. I'm saying जिनको liking है.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
Everybody नहीं होते. All right. So see how it is written here. It is sufficient that we be agreed. This is a very distinct way of writing. We be agreed. It could have. What could have been written instead of this?
We should be.
We
We
all
should
agree.
agree.
या फिर it is sufficient that we agree,
Hmm.
not be agreed. So what does it tell you? When the language is different, what does it tell you? What could it mean?
Stay
It
at
might be the era in the book was written.
Very good. So when the language is different, it indicates the period,
Hmm.
because maybe after 20, 30 years or every after 10 years, the language is changing, but some things we do not notice. But after, how old is this book again?
17 years.
1947.
All right. So after so many years, we are noticing, although the biology is the same, maybe the psychology did not change, but the language certainly seems to be
Different.
interesting, isn't it? So
Yes.
one conclusion could be maybe it is a language of those times. The second conclusion could be maybe the person is a non-native English speaker.
Hmm.
Now, even if the person is a non-native English speaker, clearly the book editor of the book from the publisher could have fixed it. So do you think this is an editing problem, or do you think this is just a different way of writing from that era?
It can be a different way.
Interesting, isn't it? तो ये छोटी छोटी बातें, if you can observe about language, question to you, can you observe these small things about people?
Yes, ideally we should observe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
here, what is common between noticing small things about people, or noticing small things about text, or noticing small things about design or music or whatever? What is common? What is that phenomena? What is that property? What is that attribute?
Curiosity.
Okay,
Listening.
any other word?
Awareness and observation. Our observation.
Any other word?
Intelligence.
Any other?
Listening.
Sorry?
Listening or reading.
No. So make a
Diversity.
note. If everybody's done, make a note. What you said is all okay, not wrong, all correct. But an interesting way of looking at it is attention to detail.
Hmm.
The magic is in the details. Artists say the beauty is in the details. The detective says, murder किसने किया ना, ये खून किसने किया, कातिल कौन, ये डिटेल में छुपा हुआ है, उसका आंसर कहीं पे हमको ढूंढना होगा, हल्का सा एक छोटा सा क्लू है. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So my
Yes.
question to you is, when you are interacting with people, when somebody is asking you for money, when somebody you're doing business with, when somebody you're signing a deal with, when you have a client or a patient, do you think what clothes they're wearing? Maybe how are they smelling? Or maybe how are they sitting? Or maybe how does your voice sound? What is their emotion? Do you think those things at a certain level might give you more information that can add value, or do you think that's all a waste of time?
That can add value, sir.
Can add value.
Different value.
Hmm? I'm not going to say yes or no. I will say depends on you.
Hmm.
So you decide. But if I'm a counselor, if I'm a coach, if I'm an employer, and let's say if a junior comes and walks and sits in my cabin, sir, I want to talk to you. Yeah, please sit. Now I look into his eyes. If his eyes seem nervous, I notice. If his hands are a little fidgety, I notice. I don't know who the person is, but by the clothes, I might be able to tell you maybe what his salary in my company is. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If I get a clue before the person speaks, can I prepare myself quickly? How to respond? Will that be of any help to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. बाप रे ज्यादा हो रहा है क्या?
No.
No.
All right. So attention to detail can be very important, can be very interesting, and Sorry, I'm getting some noise again. All right. And guys, should I give an example?
Yes.
One time, I was in a group, and we used to practice, counseling and therapy, whatever those kind of things together. So there was one person, and we used to call for food and everything, and so she used to speak over the phone and call for food and go and eat there. Once when we called for some burgers, I ordered for the burgers, and everybody I ordered whatever, 4 vegetarian, 4 non-vegetarian, and one I ordered fish. And I invited everybody, hey, all your burgers are here and everything. And she's like, oh, do I have to eat this meat? I said, no. I told her that is yours. And she opened it. Like, how did you know? I said, no, what? I like fish. I like fish burger. But the question is, how did I really know? I've never seen her eat fish. How did I know?
She must have slipped it in a conversation and you remembered.
So, as she was ordering for a food or whatever, I noticed a lip movement and I saw fish multiple times. Fish fillet or fish something. So I guessed it must be fish. What is this an example of?
Attention to detail.
So do you think she was happy?
Yes, sir.
And do you think we
Yes.
became good friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And what were we doing together? Ayo, what were we doing together? Where did we meet? Huh?
Having people.
I can't hear you. Everybody forgot?
So you told
Bonding.
she's from your counseling group. You told
Very good, very good. So what were we doing together? We were studying, practicing.
counseling.
All right. I did not know her. I did not know this person. But this is just a fun example. You should not use it only for a purpose like this. But I'm just telling you how small things can matter. Why? Because that shows you're intelligent, you're caring, you're thoughtful in such a situation. In a dangerous situation, if you notice something, can you take care of yourself because you have noticed clues that nobody else has? Is it possible? Attention to detail.
Yes.
All right. So a lot of good things. And question to all of y'all. Attention to detail. A sign of what? A sign of intelligence or a sign of बहुत time है उसके पास बहुत देखते रहता है. What is it?
Sign of intelligence.
Intelligence.
So we learned 2 things about intelligence today. 2 indicators. One is the first one we talked about it early on in the session was
Listening skills.
I cannot understand what you're saying. Your voice is not clear, ma'am. I don't know who it is.
After noting your listening skills.
नहीं, इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में एक दिया था, एक कि उससे पता चलता था पर्सन. मैंने स्टोरी का एग्जाम्पल भी दिया था ना आपको. वो तो सेकंड है. फर्स्ट क्या है?
Presence of mind.
किसका दिया था मैंने एग्जाम्पल? कहानी किसकी थी? किसकी कहानी हम सुनते थे बचपन से? अकबर बिरबल, राइट. तो ये जो बिरबल कैरेक्टर है, प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड, सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर, विटी, याद है ऐसे कुछ वर्ड्स बोले थे?
Yes, sir.
So all these words, presence of mind, what does witty mean?
Chalak.
Presence of mind.
Haji
sense
Jawabi.
of
Haji Jawab,
So
sir.
point. Sorry, Hajar Jawabi. All right. All right. So let me find something easier because I read that this is also not easy. So, in such a situation, when the sentences seem difficult or the concept seems heavy, the only option is we still utilize reading in a place like this, not at home, and at least pick up words, at least improve our vocabulary. Make sense?
yes.
Okay. So let's pick up some words today. I hope somebody wants to write. One of the words is prevalent. Second word is hypothesis. Can anybody quickly explain what they mean? Firstly, before we go ahead, is anybody interested in improving their vocabulary? Cannot needed.
I need, sir.
All right.
Yes, physics sense.
I told you 3 words. What are the 3 words?
Prevalent, hypothesis,
And
introspection.
ठीक है, ले लो introspection. 3 words. The fourth is consequently. I hope everybody knows that. I'm not sure where we're getting some noise from. If anybody can control that noise, would be helpful. Thank you so much. The next word is easy word, emergence. Emergence. The next word is very easy, perception.
Configuration is also it.
लो लिखना तो लिख सकते हैं. कितने वर्ड्स हुए अगर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखा तो? All right, let's go ahead with assimilation. Assimilation. Next word, mutation. And number 10, accommodating. Accommodating. So quickly. Let's quickly get simple meanings for this. First word, Gaurav, number 1 word. What is the number 1 word?
Prelim.
Any idea?
No idea, sir.
Very good. Do you want to pick any word and explain any word after the 10? Or you did not make a note?
I did not take a note.
Did not make a note. Okay. Gunjita ma'am, first word.
The prevalent means pre-existing.
Okay. Any other meaning? Anybody else? Would you like to add to pre-existing?
Prevalent means widely known.
Pranati ma'am, your voice is not clear. I don't understand. So sorry. Did you, Pranati ma'am, did you remove your headset or something because your voice is not clear?
She has messaged in the chat box, widely known.
All right, widely known. Anybody else? Quickly.
Most common or very common.
All right. So basically, all these meanings mean similar things, and that is ऐसी कोई चीज जो exist करती है उस time, in that time period, something that exists. Okay. Garima ma'am, next word, number 2.
Hypothesis.
Hmm.
Hypothesis.
हाँ, hypothesis जो है वो कम वाला thesis है और hyperthesis मतलब ज्यादा वाला thesis, correct?
Very.
Sir, I can't explain.
I can't explain answer है या I don't know answer है?
I don't know भी है. Hypothetical or hypothesis is same. I have no idea.
अच्छा सेम है, आगे बोलो, आंसर बोलो.
Sir, I don't know. Stupid.
All right. Anybody else quickly? Hypothesis. No, it is used. What you're saying is it is used in testing, but what does it mean? Should I
Sir,
quickly
something
explain?
something which is not proved or which is yet to be proved.
Something that seems to be a solution, something that seems to be an outcome, something that seems to be a reason, but it currently cannot be proved. Simple? Now, question to all of you all. क्यों खामखा ये वर्ड से क्या लेना देना हमको? Why do we even need to worry about words?
For our understanding, better understanding.
क्या करने का अंडरस्टैंड करने को? भगवान के घर जाना है, किधर क्या लेके
For
जाने का?
clarity.
अच्छा, क्लैरिटी मुझे अच्छा लगा. Any other reason?
To be intelligent.
Okay.
To make a better impression.
All right.
To be
So
more
here-
knowledge.
So here
To
is
have
it.
more knowledge.
All your answers are correct. And what happens is that जब हम छोटे circles में है, please listen to what I'm saying very carefully. When you are in the comfort zone, nothing matters. सब कुशल मंगल है. The minute you try to grow, everything has to grow with you. For example, if you come from a small city into a big city, everything has to change for you. Similarly, if you want to grow, you have to increase your knowledge also, increase your communication, develop a vocabulary so that when you are moving into and communicating with and reaching out to people of higher caliber, you should be able to communicate with them. If you use incorrect words, if you create misunderstandings instead of something positive, people will get confused. What are you trying to say? वो क्या रे
Yes,
थ्री
sir.
इडियट्स क्या है, वो क्या डायलॉग है उसमें थ्री इडियट्स में? हाँ, और वो जो आमिर खान कुछ एक्सप्लेन करता है तो प्रोफेसर क्या बोलता है? तुम कहना क्या चाहते हो? If we don't use the right words, people will feel like that about us. All right, guys. So, long story short, vocabulary is also important. Communication, expression, everything becomes important. And please keep working on your vocabulary if you think it is important. Now, how do you work on your vocabulary? By firstly getting introduced to new words. Secondly, using them. एक है knowing, दूसरा है using. अगर use ही नहीं करेंगे तो भूल जाएंगे. Agree, disagree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope whatever you did today, जो भी बातें की हैं, जो भी बातें सुनी हैं, आपने जो भी किया है, I hope it was of value today. Tomorrow, because the book was so heavy, tomorrow we'll just go through the key important points of what this gentleman psychologist discovered in the year, and we will also see tomorrow if whatever he discovered and developed whatever is meaningful today or not. That's it from my side. If anybody wants to say anything, 30 seconds या 20 seconds में बोल दो.
Thank you, sir. Actually, it's very useful for me as I'm going to be in psychology and counseling. So, but to be very true, it was too heavy to learn. Now, you are giving some examples and simple language, so I can understand that. So that's helping me.
All right. So, quick response to that is those things which we find heavy, they are no doubt heavy, but there is one way to make it lighter, and that is we become stronger. जब मैं वीक हूं, जब मैं बहुत वीक हूं, तब मुझसे ये उठाया नहीं जा रहा है भरा हुआ. लेकिन जब मैं स्ट्रांग हूं, ये मेरे लिए आसान है. So how do you become strong? The more knowledge you gain, the stronger you become. I'm not saying about that book. I'm generally saying. All right? All right.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Anybody else?
Thank
इसका मतलब जॉनी लेवर इंटेलिजेंट होगा.
Presence of
मुझे
mind.
तो ऐसा लगता है, इंटेलिजेंट लगता भी नहीं है, लेकिन इंटेलिजेंट वो इंटेलिजेंट है, no doubt. All right. If anybody wants to speak, quickly speak. Otherwise, bye bye. Good night.
एक्चुअली आई वुड लाइक टू से सर कि ऑनलाइन सेशन में ना हिंट नहीं लगती है कौन अभी आगे बोलने वाला है या फिर कौन बोल रहा है एग्जैक्टली. तो ये वॉइसेस मिक्स्ड अप होते हैं. सो एवरीबडी आई गेस वेट्स फॉर 2 to 3 seconds और मे बी मोर देन 10 seconds एंड वो वेट करते रहते हैं. अरे पहले कोई मे बी आंसर कर रहा है, उसको हम डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं.
एक सेकंड ना, एक सेकंड. I'll just mute Garima. Hold on.
दैट इज एग्जैक्टली आई वांट टू एक्सप्लेन कि ऑनलाइन सेशन में ना सब वॉइसेस ऐसे मिक्स्ड होते हैं जब कोई आंसर कर रहा है. अगर हम फिजिकली सामने हो ना तो पता चल जाता है कि अच्छा ये बोलने वाला है, ये बोलने वाला है. अभी कैमरा भी ऑफ है और किसी के भी चेहरे भी नहीं दिख रहे, तो पता ही नहीं चलता है कौन बोल रहा है. तो मेरे दिमाग में आंसर आता है, बट पर्सनली माई एक्सपीरियंस इज मैं वेट करती हूँ 5 to 10 seconds कि अभी मे बी कोई और बोलेगा. ऐसे हो जाता है. इट्स नॉट लाइक वी डोंट अप्रिशिएट योर क्वेश्चनिंग और वी डोंट आंसर एट ऑल.
See, पहले तो आप वी का छोड़ दो, खुद की बात करें.
यस यस.
बिकॉज आपके वी के पीछे सब छुप जाएंगे. और मैंने अगर किसी और को पूछा कि स्नेहल का ये रीजन है, आपका रीजन क्या? अरे अब वही सेम सेम.
नहीं, फिर मेरा पर्सनली यही रीजन है कि मैं कंफ्यूज हो जाती हूँ. अभी देखो ये गरिमा मैम ने कैमरा ऑन किया है तो आई कैन गेट अ हिंट दैट शी इज गोइंग टू आंसर समथिंग, शी इज गोइंग टू स्पीक समथिंग.
So what I'm asking you is, do you want to give an explanation or do you want to give a solution?
I need solution on this because online session में थोड़ा सा confusion लग रहा है.
I repeat this question one last time. Do you want to give an explanation or are you offering a solution?
I'm giving explanation and I would like to give a solution.
Please go ahead.
Solution can be, you can take a name of somebody.
I will not take any names because we are not school children. I will not call out names. जिनको initiative है, जिनमें leadership qualities build करनी है, जिनकी इच्छा है बात करें. कभी कभी कोई भी बात नहीं करता, then I call out name, but I don't want to make it a trend.
Then another solution can be everybody should be on camera. At least face तो दिखना चाहिए so that we can take hint. अभी रोहित का अभी continuously दिखता है तो I know that Rohit is going to speak. हमारा भी mostly होता है अभी आज कैमरा का कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया. But mostly I get a hint that Rohit.
See, on camera, observing body language is one option. Another option would be See, what you're saying, Snehal, works very well when somebody has a question and they don't want to disturb anybody and they just raise a hand. And the trainer or the moderator, they will say, oh, I see a raised hand. Yes, what are you trying to say? All right. But when it comes to when I'm asking a question, nobody responds, time पे time चला जा रहा है, I'm reminding जल्दी करो, कोई भी response नहीं है, तो I don't think it is always that everybody is so polite. नहीं नहीं उनको बोलने को मौका दो ना, मैं कह उनको पहले बोलने दो. I don't think people are so polite. I don't think उनको आप अकेले भी रखो ना रूम में तो भी बात नहीं करने वाले हैं. However, what you are saying is that on camera we'll get to know if they're speaking or not. ये तो मुझे पता नहीं, but on camera we know कि वो है क्या नहीं और जगह है सोए नहीं है. So what you're saying is your suggestions are good, very positive, and they're helpful. So इंटरेस्टिंग बात तो ये है कि जो ऐसे सजेशन दे रहे हैं वो खुद का कैमरा पे नहीं है.
I don't know. तो मेरा कैमरा I don't know. मैंने कैमरा ऑन किया था, वीडियो इस ये कैमरा पे.
ठीक है. तो हम कल से आपका जो सजेशन है ट्राई करके देखेंगे.
Yes.
Sir,
और
one thing we can do, sir, one thing we can do, there is an option, raise your hand.
तो
Raise
मैं
hand
अपने फ्लो
करके
में
option
जब
है
मैंने
ना.
स्क्रीन खोली हुई है, मैं अपने स्क्रीन में मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ उधर, तो मैं देखो हाँ किसने क्या बोला, raise hand. You know these things
Sir,
will work.
this option we can use ना.
अच्छा, ये ऑप्शन करके क्या होगा?
Sir, one by one you can take answers from each one of who has raised a hand.
अच्छा, तो मैं ऐसा बोले क्या? अच्छा, to me looks like Garima ma'am has raised hand. Yes, Garima ma'am. Wait a minute, I see that Gaurav has raised his hand. ऐसा? मेरी कितनी एनर्जी खराब करोगे? Why, my question to you once again is, why don't you just speak? बोलने दो ना 2 लोग, बोलने दो ना 3 लोग, फिर रुको. किसी और को अगर आपको बोलने का मौका देना है तो
वो डिबेट लगेगा फिर ऐसे न्यूज़ चैनल का.
ट्राई करके देखो ना, मुझे भी देखने दो. If there are 9 people, for example, I want to see how 9 people are responding. And when it fails, then we'll stop that. Try करके देखेंगे एक बार.
Yes, sure.
एक बार
Sir, why this?
एक सेशन में, कल के सेशन में ट्राई करके देखो. और मैं भी देखता हूँ कि कितने सारे लोग बातें करते जा रहे हैं, रोक भी नहीं पा रहे, और 9 लोग बातें कर रहे हैं. Let us see that happen. So
That will be.
see, Nehal ma'am, what you're saying is all correct, लेकिन शायद इतने enthusiastic public नहीं है. आपका जो logical reasoning है, you're on the right track, but in reality, I don't think it is like that. Anybody else want to say anything?
यस सर. सर कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम एक्टिव लिसनर नहीं होते हैं, तो उस
अच्छा, मुझे एक
मूवमेंट
बात बताइए,
में
कभी कभी क्यों चिपकाया उसके पहले आपने?
मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द
मैं
टाइम
मजाक
ऐसा
कर
ही
रहा हूँ.
होता है कि
सच है. कभी कभी एक्टिव लिसनर नहीं होते, उसकी वजह से
उसकी वजह से हम क्वेश्चंस को अच्छी तरह लिसन नहीं करते और समझ नहीं पाते क्वेश्चंस को कि आप पूछना क्या चाहते हो, और हम अपना जवाब पहले से ही तैयार रखते हैं.
हाँ, तो ये बात तो है. एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट गौरव इज वेरी ऑनेस्ट एंड फ्रैंक. उन्होंने सच बात बोली जो उनको लगता है. तो ऐसी सच बात बोलने के लिए धैर्य लगता है, हिम्मत लगती है. सो थैंक यू गौरव. एंड जहां तक सवाल है कि एक्टिव लिसनिंग की आदत नहीं है, तो आदत डालनी पड़ेगी ना धीरे धीरे.
यस
देखो 2 ही ऑप्शन है. देयर आर ओनली 2 ऑप्शंस गाइस. लिसन वेरी केयरफुली. Number one, we come, I read. Let me mute Garima ma'am again. All right. So there are only 2 options. Number one, we come, I compliment everybody. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. We read something. If anybody gives some answer, oh, very nice. Thank you for answering. हाँ, आपने आंसर, वाह वाह, so nice. Okay, bye. I can do that. आपकी ग्रोथ कितने % हुई?
0%.
और आपको अच्छा कितना लगा? 100%. He is so nice. He's got such a lovely smile. उलू ऐसे मेरे बारे में करोगे? मैं जाने दो कितना नाइस हूँ. आपको क्या मिला? कुछ सुनने को मिला. All right. But the minute I'm asking you a question, आप जो ऐसे बैठे रहते ना, सवाल क्या है मिलिंद? जवाब क्या? दिस इफ यू कैन चेंज इट, किसकी भलाई है?
हमारी।
तो वो सोचो उसका क्या करना है। और जहां तक एक्टिव लिसनिंग का सवाल है, वीक है, वो धीरे धीरे हो जाएगा इफ you believe in the process or if you believe that it should be done. All right.
Yes.
Anybody else? कुछ कहना है?
नो सर,
Steve,
वो हैंड रेज का ऑप्शन थोड़ा सा बेटर है, पर गरिमा मैम से गरिमा मैम
कौन सा वाला ऑप्शन?
हैंड रेज का ऑप्शन है ना जूम में या गूगल मीट में, वो थोड़ा बेटर है इनिशियली फॉर सम डेज।
करके देखो।
Or sir, we can do like this.
You know what? Stop. Tomorrow, we have simply क्या कहते हैं? I'm just gonna pick some key points from the book, and आपको हैंड रेस करना है तो करो हैंड रेस कल, एंड लेट मी सी कितने हैंड रेस आ रहे हैं। ये एक क्वेश्चन। दूसरी बात, डू यू थिंक यू शुड स्पीक व्हेन आई आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन?
यस आई डिड।
Yes,
और
sir.
डू यू थिंक यू योरसेल्फ शुड हैव क्वेश्चंस टू आस्क मी, मैंने पूछने से पहले?
Both, sir.
Yes.
ऑल राइट, तो ट्राई करके देखो। एनीथिंग एल्स? तो दो चीजें हैं। स्नेहल मैम इज सेइंग एवरीबॉडी टू हैव देयर कैमरा ऑन, एंड जिनके पास अच्छा माइक्रोफोन नहीं है, जो कोई स्पीकर फोन पे होते हैं, जिनके पास घुश पता नहीं बहुत आवाज है, आई डोंट नो, गौरव एक है और पता नहीं ऐसे कौन है, प्लीज सी इफ यू कैन डू दैट, बिकॉज अगर आपको आके कुछ सीखना है, अगर आपको ग्रो होना है, लेकिन अगर इफ इट इज कॉजिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंस टू यू और एवरीबडी, थिंक अबाउट उसको सॉल्व कैसे करें, बिकॉज आफ्टर ऑल पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट का एक इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग। यस, नो?
Yes, sir.
ऑल राइट। तो यदि आपको कोई डिफिकल्टी है, मुझे भी आपको कुछ पूछना है कि सॉल्व कैसे करें, तो फील फ्री। द ओनली रीजन आई एम सेइंग दिस बिकॉज वी ऑल वांट टू कम हियर, लर्न एंड ग्रो, दैट्स ऑल। तो दो
Yes.
चीजें स्नेहल मैम हैज सजेस्टेड, टू थिंग्स टुडे, बट स्नेहल मैम पूछो ना सब अग्री करते हैं कि नहीं? अग्री नहीं करेंगे तो इससे डिसीजन लेके क्या फायदा?
Yes, sir. Camera on and we can raise our
वो
hand.
तो आप कर रहे हो। एक बार करके देखो, फॉर टुमारो, एक दिन के लिए करके देखो। तो स्नेहल मैम, डिड एवरीबॉडी अग्री टू कैमरा ऑन?
Yes,
Yes,
hopefully.
किधर है होपफुली?
Hopefully
अच्छा।
tomorrow everybody can switch on their camera along with me.
Right. All right. ठीक है then. Thank you so much, guys. Sleep well.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye. Good night.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Good night, sir. Take care, sir.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Bye. Bye.
Good night.